All right, so all eyes are at the National Assembly in Islamabad, where roughly in less than half an hour from now, a no-confidence resolution against the Prime Minister Imran Khan has to be voted upon. But will the vote take place? That, of course, is the big question. The venue of the Pakistan political finale is once again the National Assembly, the building that you're looking at on your screens there in Islamabad. The pitch is set in a broader sense. It is Team Imran Khan versus a joint opposition. But the question, of course, is what are the numbers that Imran Khan will be able to field, and what are the numbers that the opposition can bring to the National Assembly at the time of the voting today? These are some critical aspects that is very difficult to actually comment upon till the time voting happens on the floor of the National Assembly. Now, at 10:30 a.m. local time in Islamabad, that's roughly 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time, the members of the National Assembly will convene. The no-confidence motion is on agenda number 4. So that is to say there are 3 other things that will have to be done before this motion is taken up. The opposition, interestingly, has also decided to table motions against the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the House. Remember, the last time round, the opposition had accused the Speaker of being partisan. And then the Deputy Speaker who presided over the Parliament decided to reject the no-confidence motion that had been brought against the government. Now, at this point of time, the big question, of course, is who will be presiding over the National Assembly? Will it be one individual? Will it be the Speaker? Will it be the Deputy Speaker? Or will there be a panel? This is something that is still not very clear. Now, what is being said that there could be a panel that could be presiding over this crucial session for today, which will include about 3 PTI members, 1 PMLN member, 1 member from the PPP. A report suggests that Imran Khan's party men will try to delay the vote even today. The experts say that it is highly likely that Imran Khan could end up losing this no-confidence vote. It's also believed that the ruling PTI government has already lost its majority in the lower house, but Imran Khan and his remaining allies are pretty adamant. They vowed not to leave the field open for the opposition, and reports suggest that Imran Khan's party men will try to delay the vote today. Last week, the Deputy Speaker had rejected the no-confidence motion against Imran Khan. On Imran Khan's appeal, the President had also dissolved the National Assembly, giving way to fresh elections. But the political turmoil turned into a constitutional crisis when the opposition approached the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court decided to reject the rejection by the Deputy Speaker of the vote of no confidence. A bench of 5 judges that presided to hear the case decided to reverse the judgments of the Deputy Speaker and also of the President of dissolving the National Assembly. The National Assembly has been reconvened, and today's session cannot be prolonged without the conclusion of the no-confidence vote. Meanwhile, many parliamentarians within Pakistan have begun to arrive at the National Assembly, where the opposition members have started to gather. Leader of the opposition, Shehbaz Sharif, arrived earlier in the morning, along with the PMLN spokesperson and many others.
ये सरप्राइज जो है वो खान साहब का आपको याद होगा धरने में क्या कहते थे, कल बताऊंगा मैंने क्या करना है, फिर अगले दिन बताऊंगा मैंने क्या करना है। ना इनके पास कोई हिकमत अमली है, क्योंकि इनका करप्शन का बयानिया, मदीना पे सियासत का बयानिया, फिर अमर बिल मारूफ और उसके बाद ये जाली खत की जो साजिश है ये बेनकाब हो चुकी है। क्योंकि आज सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात, आवाम इनसे 1 करोड़ नौकरी, 50 लाख घर, महंगाई खत्म करना, करप्शन खत्म करना के तमाम दावों के ऊपर सवाल कर रही है, जो जवाब इनके पास नहीं है।
And also in a surprise move, Shahid Khan Abbasi is also in attendance, a supporter of the Pakistan Muslim League in Nawaz. Remember, he was the 21st Prime Minister of Pakistan and held office in 2017. Listen to what he had to say.
क्या सरप्राइज क्या सरप्राइज कर रहे हैं आप आज की सरप्राइज
बेइज्जती तो कराई गई यार, थोड़ी बेइज्जती हुई है तो आप वोटिंग तो होगी, चॉइस नहीं है। अगर स्पीकर साहब इज्जत चाहते हैं तो फिर
सर ये इजलास लंबा लेके जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो उस सूरत हाल में आप लोग फिर क्या करेंगे?
इजलास लंबा हो जाएगा भाई साहब, क़यामत तो नहीं आएगी।
अगर कोई डिले हुआ तो क्या हिकमत अमली होगी अपोजिशन की?
यार ये लोग काम ऐसा कर ही रहे, वो पता नहीं कब तक चाहते हैं। वो कहते हैं ना कि चिपक के बैठ गए हैं सेल्फी लगा कर, सेल्फी लगा के क्या बना होती है कि वो कहीं जा ही नहीं सकते।
हैवी कॉल लगा दी,
इतना देर करें कितना देर करेंगे? ये कहें कि वो अपने भी चोट नहीं पैदा।
Other members of the opposition have also started to reach the assembly. There were the likes of Faisal Karim Kundi, who supports the Pakistan People's Party, and also Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, who also made his way into the National Assembly.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला है और जाहिर बात है कि जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला है उस पर आज अमल दरामद होना है, उसके अलावा तो और कोई ऑप्शन है ही नहीं। अगर उस पर अमल दरामद नहीं होता तो फिर तौहीन में अदालत के ज़ुमरे में वो लगाएंगे। तो मेरा ख्याल है कि इंशाल्लाह जो भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट के अहकामात हैं उन पर अमल दरामद होगा।
So as tensions rise in Islamabad, security in and around the parliament has been beefed up. Imran Khan has called on his supporters to protest. The opposition has warned that a state of chaos might unfold outside of the parliament. All right, now to give us more insights in terms of what is likely to happen in just under 20 minutes from now in the National Assembly in Pakistan, we're joined by senior journalist Imtiaz Gul, who is joining us live from Islamabad. Mr. Gul, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on WION. So what is likely to play out in the National Assembly today? Does this mean, is it game over for Imran Khan?
Well, I think the game has been over for Imran Khan. The day the vote of no confidence was tabled as a motion on March the 8th, because by then the entire opposition had done its homework, put its numbers together, and from there on, I think the countdown for Imran Khan was very much on. However, he just, I think, tried to delay things, having lost the majority, and then obviously what we are expecting today is also delayed proceedings. Even if the session starts at 10:30, there are, I think, several other agendas, as you also pointed out in your introduction. So we don't know what the ruling party, the PTI, has up its sleeves, but it looks like that they would like to delay, and they would like to first, I think, get the House to discuss the meanwhile controversial cable from Washington. So I think that alone could possibly lead to further delays in the proceedings.
Right. You know, that's an interesting point that you raised, because this is going to be the strategy of the Imran Khan government. They want that controversial cable, which indicates that the Americans would be happy to see Imran Khan go. They would want this issue to be discussed first before a vote of no confidence vote takes place in the National Assembly. How do you think this is likely to pan out? Because this is going to be an issue that could result in a lot of ruckus within the National Assembly.
Yeah, I mean, the cable is no fiction, that is for sure. There are the contents of the cable put together by the former ambassador, Dr. Asad Majid, are very much in sync with the meeting that the ambassador had with the Undersecretary of State, Donald Lu. And this is what has become the bedrock for Imran Khan's campaign right now. So obviously, he was very grudgeful last night in his what was considered as the last address of Prime Minister Imran Khan, that the Supreme Court did not take into consideration what led to the government, the ruling party's conduct in the National Assembly on April the 3rd. So he was very rueful about it, and that's why I think he would like not only to his people to pursue the issue in the National Assembly today, but that is likely to be the cardinal talking point of Imran Khan and his colleagues during the election campaign. I think we will be heading into early elections, whether it's and it looks like in 4 months we'll have new elections.
That's an interesting thing that you say, that we could have early elections. I'll come back to that point, but for the issue that is on hand today, the role of the Speaker is going to be a very crucial one. Now, we know for a fact that the opposition has moved a notice against both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the House. So who do you think could preside over the proceedings in the National Assembly?
I think this is turning into a circus. If we look at the Punjab Assembly, if we look at the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Assembly, where votes of no confidence are being moved against the chief ministers, so the combined opposition parties who have been until very recently at each other's throat, abusing each other, they have all joined hands to see the back of Imran Khan, and then started moving all these no confidence motions. I mean, these guys, I think, are totally oblivious to how all these moves are hurting Pakistan's economic interests, how they are infusing more instability in the country. Right now, I think the priority for everybody should have been to focus on the no confidence motion in the center, because once the center is settled, the issue of no confidence settled in the center, then I think the rest in the four provinces, it will follow suit. It will automatically flow into those provinces. So we are being led by people with petty egos, with personal party agendas, and this is why we are seeing all these delays.
Absolutely. And also, you know, when we talk of Pakistan and its politics, the role of the army is not something that is very far away. How do you see the army is looking at the political developments, the fact that Imran Khan looks poised to lose a no confidence vote, and the army would not want to intervene into this? Does it mean that the army would like to see Imran Khan go?
Well, I mean, the moment there were very strong indications from inside the GHQ that we are neutral, I think that was the word go for the opposition, and this also meant that the army does not support Imran Khan anymore, and there were very obvious rifts or disagreements, policy disagreements between the Prime Minister and the General Headquarters, particularly on the issue of relations with China, on the issue with relations with the United States, because Pakistan is sort of now sandwiched between the US and China, and the Prime Minister was very much inclined towards China on a number of times. He clearly stated that Pakistan's future is now tied with China, economic future. But on the other hand, the army chief also on April 2nd in a conference very categorically said that Pakistan has excellent relations both with the United States and with China, and that the Pakistan army could get thus far only because of the best equipment and training from the United States, and that was seen as a contrarian view to what the Prime Minister had taken. So these rifts became so obvious, and this also makes obvious that the military is not with the Imran Khan government anymore.
Absolutely, indeed. And also, you know, one more question that I want to ask you is, you said that we could be looking at the possibility of general elections in Pakistan, you know, fairly early. In terms of the events that have led up to this till this point, you know, Imran Khan has been stating that there is a conspiracy against him to dislodge him from the seat of the Prime Minister. How do you think this is likely to affect the popularity of Imran Khan? Because quite clearly he is itching for a general election. Will he now go to the people of Pakistan and say that, look, I was trying to do the best that I can, and the reason why I was voted out of power in a no-confidence vote is because the Americans wanted me to vote? Do you think this could bolster the popularity of Imran Khan amidst the Pakistani public?
I think his popularity is already bolstered. The way we have been talking to very low-income people, laborers, workers, I think the tide of sympathy has turned apparently in favor of Imran Khan, because he has been able to sell his narrative to the younger population, and younger population, the youth, idolizes Imran Khan. Now, he will most probably stick to the same narrative, because he is pitched against all the forces of the status quo. You know, all these parties who call themselves the PDM, they have been at the helm of affairs for the last many decades. Particularly in Punjab, they have been dominating, and also in the Sindh province. So I think he has been able to sell that narrative very successfully. And my fear is that if there were indeed a conspiracy against Imran Khan, then despite this big wave of sympathy in his favor, it will be very difficult for him to get that sympathy translated into votes. There could be many obstacles on the way to success.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Imtiaz Gul, for joining us and getting us all those insights. It's going to be a very interesting day ahead in terms of what is likely to unfold in Pakistan, where in just a few minutes from now, we expect the Assembly to, of course, convene. And it'll be interesting to see as to what actually happens. The no confidence vote is the fourth business that is listed in terms of the things that have to be done in the National Assembly. But the crucial question, of course, is what and who will be presiding over the proceedings in the National Assembly? Will it be the Speaker? Will it be the Deputy Speaker? Or is it going to be someone else who could hopefully play a non-partisan role in the proceedings of the House? And our correspondent, Anas Malik, he has been getting us all updates from the National Assembly in Islamabad. He's been tracking the developments as they are unfolding, and he has sent us this report from just outside of the National Assembly in Pakistan. Listen it.
At this point of time, it's still unclear who presides, but one thing is to be noted that both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker have a no-confidence motion submitted against them. Lawfully, they can still preside the session because law bars them from presiding the session that's against them on their own. So that remains to be seen whether it will be the Speaker, whether it will be the Deputy Speaker, or whether it will be the panel of chairs. In which seniority-wise, Amjad Niazi from PTI is there, then Munazza Hassan, Irfan Khattak, 3 from PTI, then Ayaz Sadiq from PMLN, and another member from the Pakistan People's Party. So that remains to be seen. It's a key question, but law does not bar the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker to chair this particular session because it's not the no-confidence motion against them themselves. If the voting takes place, visibly the opposition has the majority. The opposition's presumed candidate, Shehbaz Sharif, has the numbers to clinch the no-confidence motion and to clinch the title of the Leader of the House or the Leader of the House itself or the Prime Minister, as we said. Remember, on Sunday, last Sunday, when the initial vote of no confidence was to be held on the 3rd of April, a symbolic vote was done by the opposition after the Speaker had prorogued it, what is now said to be unconstitutional, in an unconstitutional move by the PTI. After that, the opposition held a symbolic session, and in that very symbolic session, 197 people voted in favor of the no-confidence motion in order to oust the Prime Minister. So visibly, the opposition has the numbers, and in case if it boils down to vote, then there will be trouble for Imran Khan-led PTI government.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.